The Indiana Pacers take on the Miami Heat, and that's going to be a 7:30 Eastern start time at the FTX Arena in Miami. Now, Indiana's -1.5 on the road, totals 209. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com. We are 6-2 with a push in our last $9.99 daily best plays on that very same website. And if you want to access today's $1.99 daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. And the link for that pick is in the description section below. Now, the Pacers won 4 out of their last 6 ball games, and they also successfully covered the point spread 4 times during that stretch. And although the Pacers have struggled to get the W away from home this season, it certainly isn't for a lack of defense, because the Pacers are allowing only 106 points per contest when traveling. Now, the other thing that the Pacers do well is rebounding, as they currently rank in the top 3 in the NBA in defensive rebounding away from home. Now, when it comes to the scoring with this Indiana team, Malcolm Brogdon is averaging nearly 20 points a game, along with 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Meanwhile, his teammate Domantas Sabonis is averaging over 18 points a night himself, along with 11 boards and 4 assists. And similar to their ability to rebound defensively, the Pacers are currently in the top 5 in offensive rebounding on the road. Now, when it comes to the injury report in this one, Warren and McConnell are both still out indefinitely for the Pacers. Meanwhile, for Miami on the other side of things, they've got a slew of guys on the injury report themselves. Butler, Adebayo, Tucker, Morris, and Martin, they are out for tonight's game. Meanwhile, Tyler Hero has been listed as questionable for Miami as well. And speaking of the Heat, they're having a tough time rebounding the basketball offensively themselves. As a matter of fact, they currently rank in the bottom 5 in offensive rebounding at home. And if poor rebounding wasn't enough, Miami also ranks in the bottom 3 in second quarter scoring at home. Now, defensively, on the other end of the court, there are actually a few problem areas there as well, despite how good they've been guarding their opponents. And believe it or not, the Heat currently rank in the bottom 10 in the association in guarding the 3-ball at home. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, 3 out of Miami's last 4 ball games fell under the posted total. They also went 5-2 to the under in their last 7. Meanwhile, the Pacers saw 3 out of their last 4 fall under the posted total themselves. The Pacers are also 10-4 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean toward Indiana -1.5 in the under 209. Next matchup, it is going to be Pistons versus the Knicks, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. The New York Knicks are now -7.5, totals 207, and we did see a 2.5 point move toward the Pistons in this one, as the Knicks currently have a slew of guys not playing. Barrett, Knox, Toppin, Quickly, Grimes, and McBride, they are all out for tonight's action. And Derrick Rose, he's also been listed as questionable. And I'll tell you this much, even when they're mostly healthy, the Knicks have been horrible at Madison Square Garden this season, as they've gotten the W in just 5 out of 15 home games. I mean, maybe that's not horrible, but it is pretty bad. It's not very good. And even worse than that, the Knicks are currently covering the point spread in only 26% of their contests in the Big Apple. Now, there's been some problem areas for New York offensively, as they're averaging only 104 points a night in front of New Yorkers. And the Knicks have also done a poor job of rebounding the basketball as well, as they currently rank in the bottom 5 in the NBA in both offensive and defensive rebounding at home. Now, they are taking on a Detroit team who's proven their ability to cover the number against shorthanded teams. As a matter of fact, the Pistons are coming fresh off a double-digit outright victory over a depleted Miami team where they held the Heat to just 90 total points. And as pitiful as these guys have been with regard to their straight-up record, the Pistons have actually covered the point spread in 50% of their road games. So when it comes to the number, they're not completely inept. They can get the job done. Now, Cade Cunningham is averaging over 15.5 points per contest, along with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. Meanwhile, his teammate Sadiq Bey is scoring over 13 points a night himself, along with 5 rebounds and a couple assists as well. And although it's difficult to believe, this Pistons team is currently in the top 5 in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring on the road. So we do have some backdoor cover potential, even if they end up, getting beaten here pretty badly. Now, total-wise, Detroit saw 3 out of their last 4 ball games get over the posted number. The Pistons are also 70% to the over in their last 10 as well. Meanwhile, the Knicks, on the other side of things, they saw their last 2 straight get over the total themselves. New York's also 70% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Detroit plus 7.5 and the over 207. Next matchup, Blazers, Pelicans, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Now, the Pelicans are minus 1.5, totals 218. And as bad as the Pelicans have been this season, they did garner themselves victories in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. The Pelicans also have a winning record against the spread on their home court. And they've done a terrific job of rebounding at the Smoothie King Center. As a matter of fact, the Pels are currently in the top 5 in the NBA in both offensive and defensive rebounding at home. When it comes to the scoring in this one, Brandon Ingram's averaging over 23 points a game, along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, the big man, Jonas Valanciunas, he's drilling 47% of his three-pointers himself, along with nearly 19 points a game. You almost want to see the big man shoot the 3-ball more. He doesn't shoot it a lot, but when he does, it goes in. Now, the Pelicans have done a good job of scoring late in games, as they currently find themselves in the top 5 in fourth quarter points per contest at home. They're squaring off against a Blazers club who lost 7 out of their last 9 themselves, and they're winning only 15% of their road games. Now, in addition to a poor record away from home, the Blazers have also failed to cover in 10 out of those 13 road contests. They're currently dead last in the NBA in defending the 3-ball, and the Blazers are also dead last in the association in defensive field goal percentage on the road. They're letting their opponents make nearly 50% of their field goals against them in that category I just mentioned. And when it comes to the injury report, McCollum and Zeller are still out indefinitely. Lillard is questionable with a hammy. When it comes to the number in this one, 3 out of Portland's last 5 ball games got over the posted total. They also saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with the Pelicans get over the line. Meanwhile, New Orleans saw their last 2 straight get over the posted total themselves, 70% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward New Orleans minus 1.5 over 218. Next ball game, it is going to be Timberwolves versus the Mavericks, 8:30 Eastern start time. The Dallas Mavericks are now -1 with the total at 214. We did see a 2-point move toward the Mavs since this morning. Not really sure why, because, the Mavs have a slew of guys on the injury report, so I'm really not sure why we saw that kind of line movement. Doncic, Kleba, Green, Omorie, Bullock, and Cauley-Stein, they're all out for tonight's contest. Meanwhile, Porzingis and Ntilikina, they are questionable for tonight's game as well, so they might not play either. And on top of all that, the Mavs really haven't been playing all that well recently, as they lost 6 out of their last 9 ball games. The Mavs have also done a poor job of covering the point spread at home, as they're currently covering in only 35% of their home games. Now, Dallas certainly has problems on both ends of the court, although I really think it's their offensive production or lack thereof that's been hurting their ability to win ball games. The Mavericks are averaging only 104 points per contest, and they're shooting just 69% from the stripe at home. And, to sum that up, compared to the rest of the NBA, those stats that I just mentioned, they put Dallas in the bottom 5 in scoring on average per contest, and they're also dead last in the NBA in free throw percentage at home. Now, defensively, on the other side of the court, the Mavs currently find themselves in the bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage at home as well. So certainly struggling in many different areas. They're taking on a Minnesota club who's on a 4-game winning streak, and they successfully cover the point spread in all 4 of those victories. Now, the Timberwolves have had little problem scoring on the road. They're currently in the top 3 in the NBA in road scoring. And they're led by Karl Anthony Towns, who's dropping over 24 points a night. Now, the big man Towns is also drilling 42% of his three-pointers, and he also averages 9 rebounds a game. Now, D'Angelo Russell, he's also scoring 18.5 points per contest himself, along with 4 rebounds and 6 assists. And when it comes to defending the three-pointer, Minnesota's currently in the top 10 in the NBA in defensive three-point percentage away from home. Injury-wise, Beverly, Prince, Okogie, Vanderbilt, and Edwards, they are all in COVID protocol. When it comes to the scoring in this one, 6 out of Minnesota's last 7 ball games got over the line. They're also 8-4 to the over this year when traveling. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Dallas, sorry, brain cramp. Dallas saw 8 out of their last 10 meetings with Minnesota get over the posted total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota +1 in the over 214. Next final matchup, Suns versus the Lakers, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Phoenix is -6.5, totals 224. The Suns have won their last 3 straight. They also got the W in 8 out of their last 10. And speaking of wins, the Suns are doing a real nice job of getting victories on the road, as they currently have a 10-3 record away from their home court. Devin Booker is back in action, as he's averaging nearly 23 points a game for the year, along with 5 rebounds and 4.5 assists. Booker's also been great from 3-land, as he's currently shooting 41% from beyond the arc. And speaking of shooting the 3-ball, Mikal Bridges is averaging 41% from downtown himself, 12 points a game and 3 rebounds for Mikal. Now, the Suns are currently leading the entire NBA in offensive field goal percentage. They're also in the top 3 in the association in scoring on average per game. They're taking on a Laker club who's going to work here today without Howard, Bradley, Davis, Bazemore, Monk, Reeves, and Horton Tucker. Very depleted here this evening. We're also looking at a Laker team who's done a terrible job of covering the point spread at home. LA's gotten the job done against the number in just 6 out of 17 home games this season. And that's good for just 35% in that category. The Lakers' biggest problem this year has been their defensive play, as they're giving up 112 points a game at home. And when it comes to rebounding the basketball, the Lakers currently find themselves in the bottom 3 in the NBA in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, 6 out of the Lakers' last 7 ball games fell under the posted number. LA's also 60% to the under in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Suns. And speaking of Phoenix, they're 60% to the under in their last 10 outings themselves, along with going 8-5 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns, -6.5, under 224. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are currently 6-2 with a push in our last 9 $1.99 daily best plays. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into the quick pick recap. I'm going to lean toward Indiana, -1.5, under 209. Detroit, +7.5, over 207. I'm also leaning toward the Pelicans, -1.5, over 218. Minnesota, +1, over 214. And with my last pick here, I'm going to lean toward Phoenix, -6.5, under 224. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of December. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. If you want to get access to every single pick that I give out on that website, You're also going to want to sign up for my board member tier pick. Board members get access to every single pick that I give out on that website all the way through the end of December. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.